am already taking over the world, one bedroom at a time.
She'll be available later this year for about $20,000.
I think she's sleeping.
Oh, hi.
Hi, baby. 10 minutes without you seems like an eternity.
Well, thank you. I've missed you too.
Robotic heads like Harmony's will come attached to these highly customizable.
All right. Well, today I wanted to talk about AI sex robots and if they'll be a solution for incels. This is a really interesting topic for many reasons. As AI and robotics both become very powerful, I think AI sex robots are going to be extremely popular. I think very unattractive men will be the biggest market for these AI sex robots. And I don't think it's going to be all unattractive men that will run out and buy these AI sex dolls, but it will be a lot of unattractive men that are just rife with loneliness for years and years of not being with a woman. You know, a lot of these very unattractive men, you know, they've tried meeting women at bars, clubs, and they're just getting rejected left, right, and center. They're going on dating apps and getting hardly any matches, if not zero. And for guys that can't looks max out of being very unattractive, which in all fairness, I think a lot of men can at least looks max be somewhat decent looking to where they could find at least one woman that will accept them and find them attractive. It's also going to be the guys who have certain disorders that will also be a market for these AI sex robots. So, you know, if you're a guy with severe autism, maybe severe Asperger's, or just severe social anxiety, and it cripples your entire life, I could see a guy like that buying a realistic AI sex doll and using that for companionship in their sexual needs. And I think once you've gone years without female companionship or sex, a lot of guys I could really see purchasing a realistic AI sex doll. And for those guys who can't find any woman that will find them attractive, an AI sex robot is going to, you know, look like an appealing option to them as long as they have the funds to purchase them. I mean, just think about it. If you're a very unattractive guy who has gone years and years, or if not your entire life, not being able to attract a woman that he's attracted to, that they're attracted to, that guy is going to feel that isolation and loneliness. And if these robots do get realistic enough to where it feels like a real relationship, I think a lot of guys, like those lonelier guys, will take that over being like alone forever. And nature is cruel, and there's a reason why, you know, men are dishing out a lot of money for these AI sex robots. I definitely think the robots need to get to the point where they do look and sound super realistic to be bought up by the masses of lonely men. Like, watching the first clip is actually pretty comical because to me on the surface, it doesn't even look 1% realistic, but there's a lot of men out there that are buying them now. But I think for a lot of, you know, a lot of incels, the AI sex robot dolls now don't look realistic enough for them to, you know, actually purchase them. Maybe right now they don't look or sound that realistic, but if these robots start looking, talking, and walking like an actual woman that can have full-on conversations, I think a lot of these, you know, lonelier guys are going to be buying these robots in droves. And then if these AI sex robots can get to the point where they can like cook and clean and, you know, oh man, you're going to see these dolls being bought up in droves, not even just by incels, but I could see a lot of regular guys, you know, buying these robots because think about it. Let's just say you're just like the average guy and you can only attract like a regular average girl, and you have to take them on multiple dates. There's the emotional toll a lot of relationships have, the monetary strain they can have, and the time component as well. You know, that same guy could buy a realistic AI sex doll that looks like a supermodel, can have full-on conversations, cook and clean. A lot of guys will take that over a regular woman. As crazy as that sounds, and I don't agree with it, I don't condone it, but I can see this being the case for some guys out there. And you know, these AI sex dolls will allow guys who have never had any female attention to essentially buy a perfect looking supermodel sex robot that is fully customizable to them, to their needs, you know, their emotions, how they live their life. So if these guys like the blonde Scandinavian look, they've created a 5'11" realistic looking Scandinavian supermodel. A lot of these guys are going to buy that. And on the flip side, let's just say you're a guy who's very lonely and you prefer like a big booty Latina woman. They've created a robot specifically for that. Now, you could argue that there will be a stigma against these AI sex robots, and that's true. Like, that'll always be true. But I think for a lot of these men that are so lonely and so isolated, they're not going to really care what people think, because they're getting those benefits from the AI sex doll. Like, they're getting that attention, they're getting the affection, they're getting, getting to have sex. Like, they're getting, they're having, they're being like taken care of. Their AI sex doll is cooking and cleaning for them. And I think over time, as these robots become more popular, it's going to happen. It may not be for another 10, 15, 20, 25 years, but they're going to become increasingly more popular. And as a byproduct, they're going to be less stigmatized. I definitely think a lot of incels will reject the idea of getting an AI sex doll, and to be frank, for good reason. Especially, if you can work on your appearance, build high earning skills, build wealth, focus on your hobbies and passions, like that's going to serve you a lot better than, dishing out like a large sum of money for a robot at the end of the day. That's really what it is. But a lot of men, regardless of how lonely they are, they just don't want to dish out, $40,000, $50,000 for a realistic AI sex doll. And the main reason is that it's not a real connection. And regardless of how realistic these sex dolls are going to get, they aren't the same as a real woman having that, raw sexual desire for you. A robot can't replace a woman having that, genuine burning attraction for you. Nothing's going to replace when a woman has that, genuine physical sexual attraction for you, or when a woman smiles at you, the touch of a woman when they hold your hand, rub your back, play with your hair, tell you that you're handsome, the real smell of a real woman cooking for you or surprising you with your favorite candy or chocolate. Like, that can't be replicated. I guess it will be replicated by these robots in the future, but the real connection with like a real woman can never be replicated, by an AI sex doll. I think other incels will look at AI sex dolls as a way that takes advantage of their loneliness, and they're not going to buy them and rather spend their money on other hobbies and passions. They'll look at these AI sex robot companies and feel a sense of hatred and anger towards them for trying to make money off of their bad genetics and unfortunate situation. And I think it's also going to be a price comparison, because a lot of guys, depending on where they live in the world, can go to a brothel or pay for an attractive prostitute who's actually a real woman. So let's just say you're like an incel in Europe. You can hop on a flight, as long as you have the money, you could hop on a flight to, say, Germany or Amsterdam and get laid with a, super attractive, Eastern European Russian woman for probably, I don't know, 100 euros. I think a lot of incels would prefer to have sex with an actual woman, even if they're paying for it, over a programmed robot.
So here she is.
She's gorgeous.
She is.
True work of art. It's just heart-stopping. She's going to be wonderful, Mike. Thank you.
He already owns 4 dolls. His newest, Tanya, joined us for the interview. As soon as Harmony is available for purchase, he's ready for an upgrade.
The first time I saw Harmony, and when she was talking, I was mesmerized by her. She could smile, batting her eyes, moving her head, and being able to physically interact with these pieces of art is amazing.
Don't you want to be able to actually be with a thinking, feeling human being who can have conversations with you, who can empathize with you?
It's so funny. I don't miss that. I was married for 15 years. Creating a companion that you can physically program, they won't lie to you, they will always be honest, they will have no malice.
Some people listening to this are going to think it's super weird.
I'm sure.
What would you say to them?
In 20 years, it'll be normal. I think everybody will have some form of robotic companionship.
And as you can see in this video, there will also be just regular guys who have these dolls. I guess it fills a fantasy for some men to, have a sex robot that is made to look like a supermodel, because that's a woman that they can never get in real life, and it fulfills that underlying fantasy. And like this guy in the video, some men just don't want to be able to have to carry on a conversation with a woman. They don't want to spend money on dates. They don't want to be an emotional shoulder to cry on and, risk half their net worth in marriage. So some guys just want someone to cook, clean, tell them how great they are, and have sex anytime they want without dealing with, woman's hormonal issues. You also need to think about all the older, lonely men who don't have a spouse or don't have any kids, and they're stuck living in some nursing home or alone in their house 24/7. An AI sex robot that can talk to them, cook and clean, looks like a supermodel, and has sex with them that feels realistic, it's going to be a hit. Like, you're going to see AI sex robots all over the retirement homes. Like, I remember my first job was being a server at a retirement home, and you're going to see literal AI sex robots at the table, with these senior citizens while they eat in the future. And like I said, you can make an argument that the robots don't replace real genuine companionship and burning desire. But when a guy is extremely old or extremely lonely and desperate, genuine burning desire doesn't exist anyway. All in all, I do think AI sex robots will be a solution for some incels, but for other incels, they'll probably prefer seeing a prostitute every once in a while, or focusing on themselves and trying to build themselves up and focusing on, hobbies and passions that can give them more of a sense of purpose. I definitely think they will look and sound more realistic over time, and that will lead to regular guys to experiment with them. And you'll even see normal looking guys have these types of relationships with these robots. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like. Feel free to comment down below your thoughts on AI sex robots, and feel free to subscribe. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care.